Hello and welcome everyone. This is my placement video for Ryerson University. This is the DBT series and the skill I will be going over today is opposite action. This is for a safer space placement. So the skill we'll be reviewing is acting opposite. Acting opposite is a DBT skill where in order to reduce the intensity of your action urges and emotions, you act opposite to what your emotions are urging you to do. When you follow your action urges, the emotion you're experiencing usually intensifies. For example, if you're feeling frustrated with someone and you act on your urge to yell at them, your anger will only grow stronger. If you're avoiding a social situation because it might make you anxious, by constantly avoiding and not exposing yourself to what you're afraid of, you become more anxious of the situation itself. By acting opposite to an urge you have, you de-escalate the emotion you are experiencing. Here are the steps for acting opposite. So first, you want to identify the emotion you're feeling. This is a really key step, as if you can't identify what the emotion is, it's really hard to act oppositely. Once you've identified your emotion, you have to identify the urge that comes with this emotion. Sometimes this can be hard to do because when you're in an emotional state, your urges might feel justified. For example, if you're feeling attacked by someone, lashing out might feel like something that you're able to do when in actuality it's just an urge that you're having. 3, decide if the urge that you're having fits the facts of the situation, not your emotional facts, and will help you with your long-term goals. So for example, if you do get the urge to yell at someone, review the situation that's happened and see if that is actually justified or if you're just feeling frustrated and overwhelmed. The 4th step is if your urge will not help the situation or your long-term goals, it's time to act opposite to gain mastery over your emotions. And finally, the skill asks you to repeat acting opposite until your action urge changes. So for example, if you're feeling angry and you treat the person who you're upset with kindness, and you notice you're still really mad at them, then continue over and over responding to them with kindness until slowly the emotion de-escalates. So here's an example for opposite action for shame. So if you're experiencing shame, the first thing you're going to want to do is make public your characteristic or behavior to people who won't reject you. A parent, a best friend, someone who you know that you can tell what you're ashamed of to, and they will still accept you for who you are. The second step is repeat the behavior that sets you off over and over without hiding the behavior from someone who won't reject you. So if you're, say, for example, shameful of what a certain body part might look like without makeup, you would spend time with the person without wearing makeup over and over until slowly you got used to it. The third step in this skill is not apologizing for what you feel ashamed of. This goes in line with gaining confidence. And finally, maintain a confident posture, have your head up, shoulders back, and make eye contact. Opposite action for anger. So the first step in this skill would be to gently avoid the person you're angry with rather than lashing out. Tell them you need a quick breather, leave the room, stop texting them. The second step would be taking a timeout. During this timeout, you could do any of the skills that we talked about last week, such as paced breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, cold temperatures, intense exercise, anything that will help bring your emotional temperature down. The third step would be kind rather than being mean and insulting. Treat the person you're arguing with compassion. For example, you're in a fight with a friend. You feel the urge to insult them, but instead you tell them you're upset and need some space. As you take some time to calm yourself down, plan a calm way to express your needs and resolve the conflict without insults or yelling. Opposite action for fear. So the first step in this is to do what you're afraid of doing over and over. The more times you do it, the less afraid you'll be over time. Approach events, places, tasks, activities, and people you're afraid of. Even if it's not your main fear, just approaching different things that you're nervous about can help you overall with confidence. The third step would be engaging in activities that give you control and mastery over your fear. For example, if you have a fear of a certain animal, You might start by just imagining walking by that animal. Then you might contact a friend who has that animal that you're scared of and say, just sit in the same room as that animal. And finally, as you slowly take incremental steps to overcome your fear, you'll be able to do it. So, a really important part of this skill is brainstorming. Instead of coming up with opposite actions on the spot, plan ahead. So, think about yourself in your own life and which emotions you struggle with. For example, it might be yelling, it might be avoiding conflict, it might be people pleasing at your own expense, and then make a plan of opposite actions you can do in the moment. Keep the list of opposite actions you can do when you're experiencing a problem in your life. So when you're in the moment and your emotional temperature is raised, you can quickly read a list on your phone and know how to proceed. Thank you guys for watching my presentation and have a great week.